Capital
like
Volume 1.
they're dirty. They don't care. They'll outwardly lie. This is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just benign dudes. Just I don't know what the they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or boxes or something, like they're helping. This is what it is online. Hassan's community are the most psychotic.
We should do an H3 Snark viewing party of this. We should do an H3 Snark viewing party. Go post an H3 Snark viewing party with Mike. Get in here. Get in here, H3 Snarkers. I have to say, like, I've seen a lot of subreddits that are about criticizing people before, or you know, or anti so and so. And I have to say, the H3 Snark subreddit is the most well-moderated, intelligent, and honestly reasonable anti-fan subreddit I've ever seen. They aren't just like freaking out and schizo posting. They're not leaking, you know, personal information. They're not obsessing or making things up. It's just like a clearinghouse of all of H3, you know, H3's various, I would say, crimes and gaffes and bad behavior over the years. You know, that's kind of my feeling about H3 Snark. And when you compare it to something like Destiny's community or the stuff, you know, the freaks that Ethan Klein associates with, and gets his information from, it's night and day. Just the quality of the person is night and day. And, you know, if H3 Snark does something wrong, I'll be happy to point it out. You know, I'm not associated with them. It's not my community. I'm not a mod there, you know, but if I want to know something about Ethan Klein, the H3 Snark subreddit is going to tell me the truth. Good faith criticism. It's rare these days. Honestly, Ethan Klein should be thankful that so much of the criticism of him is based on what he does and says, not just, you know, making fun of his appearance or lying about his personal relationships. Seeing Destiny threads on LSF, I wonder how long people will keep repeating the same shit about the drama before anyone got bored of seeing all the same comments on all threads. If clips get regularly posted on there and end up on front page, either he gets banned from the subreddit or people eventually give up from sheer exhaustion. No, either way, a win-win in my eyes. Oh my god, Omega Lol, bro, this account is so sus. Omega Lol, one of the accounts calling Destiny is sex pest is in every LSF post. Pepe, a personal favorite. Seems like every Destiny LSF post is brigaded by sex pest. Exact words. Is this a Hassan operation since he covered it? Personally, guys, I think you should keep it up. I think you guys should keep it up. I mean, who wants to see Destiny posts anyway? Right? Like, everybody should be aware of this. And the reason why you should be made aware of it is Destiny is really good at lying and posting anti-Trump slop. Right? Or like anti-MAGA slop. And the last thing we want is for the opposition to Donald Trump to be associated with a sex pest. Somebody who could be so easily discredited and be used to kind of like taint the movement overall. So everybody should be aware of what Destiny is and who Destiny is, so that nobody is confused about what the fuck, you know, who he is. So if they decide to associate with him anyway, they're doing so knowingly and they're damning themselves. I don't like to see, like, there's, like, I'm not a liberal. I'm ideologically opposed to liberals, but I don't want to see good faith liberal people who just are wrong about the issues become associated with this criminal. I want only people that are knowingly doing it and ignoring the many victims he has to do it. So I know that those people are scumbags. So it's very important that everybody always knows. Whenever you see a Destiny post, bam, sex pest. This guy, you know, sexually approached his fans, you know, underage, you know, he said that he found underage girls sexually attractive, like all sorts of stuff like that. It needs to be known. And you should only post things that you can verify and that you can provide clips of. But it needs to be known in every clip you see of Destiny. Stale 2000 business is in session. Please shut the fucking exit or you lose your entire purpose of LSF mod. So in other words, I guess they have a DGGer that's still a Destiny fan taking orders in the chat. God, holy am I crazy thinking getting banned for doing a Sig Heil as a joke is fucking absurd? What the fuck is going on with the soy LSF shit? Guys, it's soy to ban people for doing Hitler salutes. It's soy for doing Hitler salute, getting in trouble for doing Hitler salutes. Something that is like a crime in some countries. It's soy to get a couple day ban. Damn, Ethan catching so much heat on LSF for no reason, lol. Is LSF just completely taken over by Hassan's fans now? Omega lol, that H3 thread is insane. Keep it up. Keep it up. If we could turn Reddit around, we're winning, baby. How did LSF become so pro Hassan? Look at how much they brigade this shit. They're complaining about brigades as they're doing their brigade chat. Oh my God. Wow, DGG have so much Reddit braid groupthink, they think other communities are as groupthink as they are. They really have no concept of organic disagreement on the grounds of the facts of the matter. People who are angry about IRL sex crimes must be a hater fan. People are disagreeing with Sig Heils for a joke. Damn, they must be some sensitive, overtly woke people. I don't know why. Even to this day, I think they must get some pushback at DGG. They're at least nominally liberal. They're not liberal. DGG is not liberal. It's a Destiny fan community. Destiny Posh is not liberal either. He just postures as a liberal in order to get people, you know, who are paying attention to politics to look at him. That's all it is. He doesn't believe in anything. It's very important for you to understand this. He doesn't believe in anything. He's not philosophically grounded. He doesn't believe in fucking anything other than nihilistic egoism. It's like how Mike postures he's a lawyer. Like that, for example, is just a lie. I never did that. I never did that. A Democrat, a functionary, put lawyer as my profession right after I graduated law school on a petition for office that I was running for. The Democratic Party did that, not me. But that doesn't matter. It was my petitions, right? I won at the trial court level. I won at the appeals court level. The Republican Party appealed to the Supreme Court, and a Republican Supreme Court took me off the ballot. And guess what? I was off the ballot from May 5th, 2014 to May 22nd, 2014. What happened on May 22nd, 2014 to get me back on the ballot? I won the Democratic Party primary with a write-in campaign. Do you know how hard that is to do, you dumb fuck? While the Republican Party was spending tens of thousands of dollars to try to defeat me in the write-in, they lost. So you're trying to say I lied about something 11 years ago now. That was a 3-week period, and you're bringing that up. You think that matters to anybody? Why are you bringing that up, dumb fuck? Because you don't give a shit about it. You're exactly the point. You're exactly the point of the matter is you don't fucking care. You don't fucking care about the truth. You're just a psychotic fucking loser. You should actually do it. And stop, like, do it. Get a life.
People on the internet.
He's a liar, dude.
Like,
I hate
get
to
a life. Seriously.
say it, but I do think it's related. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of Stalinist. The way that they'll just lie and say anything to frame anyone for anything.
It had just been discovered around the same time as this Arab tier list that Twitch had secretly, without announcing it anywhere, banned the entire country of Israel from creating new accounts.
Honestly, Twitch should sue. The company said it received 100,000 mobile verified signups from Israel over the past 12 months and saw a 95% increase in hours watched in the region. So they're just lying. He just lied about that. Ethan Klein just lied about Twitch.
They're just like in too deep on whatever the certain narrative is that they're committed to.
I feel like the reason I brought it up was mainly to express the frustration with Bibi and him firing the one guy that was somewhat, you know, attempting at moderation. It wasn't.
He's a war criminal. Yoav Galan is not a moderated person. He's a war criminal. Maybe in the Israeli politics of it's genocidal war criminal to genocidal war criminal, he's a war criminal.
Really so much to say Gallant is a good guy. I shouldn't have used that word. That was a bad choice on my part, considering stuff that he has said that I was not even thinking of.
There's no room
Okay, I'm
to
glad
like
that Hila,
allow
I'm glad that Hila backpedaled there, but you still said he's moderate.
They have to win.
anything that deviates a little bit from like, no, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy.
All right, so these guys are clearly the bad guys.
There's nothing in between.
The projection, the visual metaphor of them being projected onto a sheet is amazing. Member of the bar here, if you graduate law school, you're a lawyer, not just not an attorney. Well, Dennis, that's what the trial court and appeals court said, if you look at my case. But the Republican Supreme Court decided that that's not the case. They said they created fresh law and said, if you are not currently in Pennsylvania, if you're not currently an active bar member, you can't call yourself a lawyer. Just in Pennsylvania, by the way, because of me. If you're a retired attorney, you can't say you're an attorney. If you're just graduated from law school, you can't say you're a lawyer. You cannot because of me. That was all made up. Oh man. Anyway, and just as a side note for anybody who doesn't know, this is like the big scandal people try to use against me. The Republicans who threw me off the ballot, again, I was off the ballot for 3 weeks before winning the Democratic primary because Democrats in my community were so pissed off at the bullshit fucking decision. I won a write-in campaign. Those Republican judges all got thrown off the court because they got caught sending like porn and bestiality porn and like racist emails. Like with Obama with a bone in his nose. So like there was a major Pennsylvania Supreme Court scandal. You can go look it up. And almost every judge who voted against me is now off the court. And because of the scandals, there's now a left-wing Supreme Court in Pennsylvania. And I helped elect multiple members of that left-wing majority in Pennsylvania. So as usual, everybody who hates me is a sex creep. Everybody who fucks with me gets exposed as a pedophilic sex creep. It's very funny. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about.
Michael Aiken is stepping down from the bench over a scandal involving pornographic emails. Aiken has served on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court since 2002. Attorney General Kathleen Kane has been releasing hundreds of offensive emails allegedly sent by Aiken and others. Aiken is now the second member of the High Court to quit in connection with this scandal in the last 18 months. Judge Seamus McCaffrey retired in 2014 after he was suspended by the court for the emails he sent.
So it was like instantaneous revenge for me. Instantaneous revenge. Like they threw me off the court off bullshit, or threw me off the ballot off bullshit. I won the primary anyway with a write-in 3 weeks later, and then a bunch of them got thrown off the court for being sex freaks. Total Mike victory. Now, and then Destiny found it out because, you know, they searched for me. Like when Destiny was mad that he lost 6 debates to me on the issues, he was so furious, he decided to do like research into me, see if he could find any scandals. And he found some of the like right-wing attacks that were launched against me because I was running in a, you know, relatively competitive district. Now, a Democrat has not won in the 5 elections since I was there. I pretty much proved that district was gerrymandered. Like it was freshly gerrymandered, so we didn't know just how unwinnable it really was. That was kind of like a test race, and the district is unwinnable, right? It's a Republican gerrymandered district. It is what it is. They got rid of a large section of a city of Allentown, which is part of it, and traded it for like rural, you know, exurban districts that lean Trump, right? So you know, that's what happened to that. So no one's won there, right? And 2014 was a bad year to run anyway. So it's not like, oh man, Mike did really bad in that district. Look how winnable it is. It's like, this is an unwinnable gerrymandered district. It is what it is. I ran as a 29-year-old, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And nobody has won it since. So it's not like I fucked up something. It's just an unwinnable district. It happens. It was a good lesson for me. And so I was able to go on and help people win winnable seats and winnable races with the experience that I got. And so that's just like how life works in politics, right? You know, not everything is winnable. You're not going to win every time. Bernie Sanders got his ass kicked multiple times running for office. Now he's the most popular national political figure. Losing is part of the lesson. If you're not ever losing, you never ran for anything difficult. You know that Barack Obama lost? Barack Obama ran for Congress and lost. So like even some of the most talented politicians as far as electoral politics, they run for offices and lose. It's just the way it goes. What percentage did I get? Like 40%. It was not. It was a pretty red district. The 2014 was a really red year. That's just how it goes. How did you get into local politics? Basically, once I finished law school, I moved back to where I went to high school, my hometown, and the Democrat. There's this really cool Democrat organizer who they wanted to have a candidate in that district, and she reached out to me, and I was like, I'll do it. Fuck it. I hate that piece of shit. So, and I ran. I decided to go for it. Unfortunately, if you don't remember what 2014 was like, 2014 was the worst year ever to be a Democrat candidate. In Pennsylvania, not one Democrat challenger won their race. Not one. You know, it is what it is.
Story. They have a story
Mm-hmm.
that they
Let's get
cannot
back to this.
deviate from.
That's enough about me. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard all this shit before, but it's always good to clear the air on this stuff. Like, if you think like Mike is some sort of fraud and liar, and it's like one of the key ways they try to poison the well. And I'm very comfortable talking about this stuff because I want you to know about it, because it's good to know that I have that experience. I know it works. Am I considering running for office again? No, not in the immediate short term. I wouldn't run as a Democrat. I can't stand the Democrats.
Yeah.
No matter what. The artist I wanted to collaborate with decided I don't want to be associated because I'm Israeli. When we talk about how serious the rise in anti-Semitism, this is why it's scary for us. It's now so casual to just not want to associate with an Israeli just because I was born there. And this is the result of Hassan's type of activism. This is the result of this activism that this is the result of Hassan's activism. This is what it resounds to. This is the fault of people like Hassan. Zero progress for people in Gaza.
Last week, Ethan Klein released the long-awaited
Mike, I know
content.
nothing about you and can't easily find things about you. Okay. That's okay. You could ask.
Nuke on Hassan Piker. His magnum opus, 2 months in the making, designed to end the career of Hassan Piker.
Would you encourage people to work on a campaign before they run for local office? Of course. That's if you want to run for office, the first thing you should do is find a local progressive or socialist candidate that you believe in and help them run. Because then you'll understand that running for office is a beyond full-time commitment, and it's a soul-sucking experience. It's humiliating, it's difficult, it's painful, but it'll embed you deeply in the community with the people that know the community best. And you'll actually meet your neighbors, and you'll meet other activists, and you'll meet other people, and you'll do the work, and people will trust you because they'll have seen you in the trenches. You know, and being the type of person that will help someone else before you try to launch your own campaign is the stuff that will make other people want to support you. So you're not on your own, and then, you know, it's impossible for you to win. Remember when we were investigating Joshua for Congress and found out he was playing League all day? I never heard you so angry. Yeah, Joshua for Congress was a fucking fraud. And because I ran for office, I knew he was a fucking loser as soon as I talked to him. Was he at least a decent rank? No. Oh, by the way, chat, look at this. Chat, you want to see something incredible? You want to see something incredible? Look at that. Look at that. That's not me, that's Vio. You thought I grinded? You think I'm grinding ranked all day? That's Vio. That's Vio. Vio is a rocket main. Vio is a rocket main. Vio is very, very good at Rocket. Did you see that the media black hole is getting close to Super Earth in Helldivers? Oh shit, I might need to play some Helldivers again. Vio is 1,000,000 times better of a gamer than Hassan? Oh yeah. Vio is a good gamer. Like, Vio is legitimately a good gamer. Not as good as me, of course, but a good gamer nonetheless.
And anyone else in his political Twitch streaming orbit. Well, not anyone. Mostly just Arabs and Arab women in particular. This video, from a metric standpoint, was a success. I mean, the H3 podcast hasn't hit 1 million views in 3 months. The last 1 million view video being entirely about Hassan. Ethan seemed to notice this trend and decided to go all out on a 2-hour crash out content nuke to get it all off his chest. Or so we hoped, as the last 3 episodes of the H3 podcast have also been entirely about Hassan Piker. And in those 3 episodes, Ethan has really dug his own grave, showing us all that he truly is a shell of his former self.
Someone who has any sort of kindness in their heart.
I'm unkind now.
Wait, what is he talking about?
I'm a meanie head. Because he says, you have to be a total meanie head to make that video he made about me, which I haven't watched. Did you just call me a meanie head?
What? We're talking about kindness?
Yeah, are we doing...
We're way past that, Hassan. We hate you.
Yeah, no, it's...
Did you not get the memo?
I mean, what...
Wow, they hate Hassan. They hate Hassan. See, you know what makes people hate you more than anything? When you hold up a mirror to their... when you hold up a mirror to their flaws. What makes people hate you more than ever is if they're a narcissist and they break up with you. The best revenge against a narcissist is living well. They'll never forgive you for just moving on and brushing them off. And that is the crime that Ethan Klein is. Ethan Klein is like, I said that you are wrong for not supporting Israel's war on Gaza. Therefore, I am done with you. And Hassan was like, okay, bet. And he became even more popular than before. He said, I disagree with you guys on this. Israel is in the wrong. This is a genocide of Gaza. And if you don't want to work with me on that, if you can't move on beyond that, goodbye. And they've been brain broken ever since. And now, and it's the same thing with Destiny, right? Like, I'm sorry to bring Destiny up, but they're related. It's the same thing happening again. We did the same thing with Destiny. Destiny's like, I'm done with Mike. I'm done with Hassan. When I was a 200 viewer Andy, he was like, you're not allowed to post about Mike or talk about Mike. He just uses me in debates to get more viewers. And I was like, okay, bet. And we went off on our own. And now I'm bigger now on Twitch than Destiny was when he quit. Like, as far as live concurrent viewership. We just don't give a fuck. We moved on and we were like, okay, bye. And so when you move on beyond these narcissists and you just say, okay, bye, and you live well and you succeed and you're happy, that is what causes them to fixate. So Ethan Klein is never going to stop fixating on Hassan. Like, if you're an Ethan Klein fan, in your heart of hearts, you're like, well, maybe he'll get back to comedy. He will not. He's going to sit there and fixate on Hassan and spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral. And that's just the way it's going to be forever. It's unfortunate, but, you know, Ethan doesn't have a lot of friends. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a lot of people that are his equal, right? And Hassan was one of those people that was an equal of his, was a friend of his, not an employee, not someone he can give orders to, but a collaborator, a friend. And when he lost that, he doesn't have a lot of those. So and there's not a lot of people passing into that circle as I'm a friend of Ethan. I'm an equal of Ethan that he has to treat with respect. A peer. He doesn't have those. He has minions. He has sycophants. He has employees. He has maids. He has nannies. He has Dans. Right? He doesn't have equals. He doesn't have people with self-respect who could push back. And so he's going to be fixated on Hassan for a long time. I understand because I fumbled a bad bitch too once. We are proud of everything you've experienced on here, Michael. You've come a very long way, but with you, it's worth noting that we've been trying to reach you regarding your vehicle's extended warranty. Please press 0 to speak to an agent now. I don't need one. I'm still on my original warranty. Thank you. Sorry. I'm a rich streamer. My car is still under the original warranty, so I don't need an extended one. Thank you.
It's kind about telling survivors that they're
Jerkstore,
alive.
thank you for the tier 1. Hey, chat, it's a founder. Jerkstore is one of my original subscribers, chat. That's crazy. He was here on, like, one of my first few streams. That's an old chatter. The Jerkstore. Welcome back, brother. August 6th, 2019. That's pretty crazy. If you want to know about my community and how consistent I am and how I'm not an asshole, I have original subscribers on my channel from fucking like almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. They're still here. You posted Chinese. I can't read Chinese, sir. Hold on, chat. I like chicken nuggets and socialism with Chinese characteristics. Same.
I'm currently working on a video going point by point through the content nuke and debunking the obviously incorrect claims. But today, I just want to take a quick look.
JD Vance didn't vaccinate his 12-year-old relative and she was denied a heart transplant. JD Vance's 12-year-old relative denied heart transplant because she's unvaccinated. I mean, that's just the way it works. They're not going to give a heart to somebody who is not doing voluntary medical things that reduce their risks. When you have immunosuppressants, you can't, like, that's just, if you're already showing that you're not going to comply with medical directions, they can't give you a heart. That's malpractice. Hey, what's up, Yin Red? How you doing, buddy? Welcome in. That's some evil shit. But I agree with the doctors. They adopted the kid knowing she'd need a heart transplant too, and they decided not to vaccinate. By the way, chat, Ethan Klein is trying to call me fat. Ethan, bro, you have more fat on your cheeks than I do in my gut. Like, what are you talking about? Bro, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Good Lord.
at the fallout of this nuke. Because Hassan is still averaging 40,000 live viewers, Ethan is still widely hated by the internet, and Klein is losing business partnerships. The content nuke aimed for Hassan has backfired in an incredibly satisfying manner.
I wonder which Fiverr visual designer he bought this from. You think Ethan Klein made this? Hey Ethan, who made this? Which artist made this? You think that's not shitty Adobe AI? I mean, maybe.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by viewers like you. Become a member today and unlock exclusive content at patreon.com/NorthstarRadio. On the first episode back, Ethan basically himself off reacting to his own video.
Oh, you missed it? Let me go back.
Oh yeah, we gotta see that.
I was doing some high level here, Dan. I had to do a tutorial for this part.
Killing a flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs outside of campus.
Untrained, inbred asses shipped into southern Lebanon, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture.
Oh, again.
I believe it was a some kind of block swipe.
Yeah, block.
Yeah.
Very good.
And this is where Ethan's cognitive state comes into question, because this dude is so clearly not doing okay. While reacting to Hassan's response to the content nuke,
Mike, will your VODs ever be public again? I like having them as an incentive for subscribers and also making it harder for people who just who get banned to make random accounts, just try to clip things out of context. I like adding a difficulty. You know what I mean? Anything I could do to add difficulty to people who are annoying is always good. But you should probably just get gifted a sub. If you watch my stream, you'll probably get gifted a sub. And if you watch my stream a lot, you should probably just pay me $6. I mean, like, it's not even a fucking... You can't even get, like, a lunch for $6 anymore. It's, like, once a month. Like, come on.
Ethan claims that he's never tried to be a comedian.
Very intelligent. Definitely not a hack-ass, failed-ass,
I just got here and I got gifted. There you go.
Comedian.
Look at that.
Bro, I've never tried to be a comedian, a failed comedian. What are you talking about? It's not even a sore spot for me or anything, because I'm not a comedian. I've never tried to be a professional comedian.
This is despite Ethan calling himself a professional comedian over a dozen times throughout his career.
I'm a comedian. That's my job.
I'm a comedian, right? I'm trying to make a joke. I know it looks crazy.
I'm a comedian and people are laughing. Unlike you, I'm a comedian, not a journalist, so I have a little more leeway. I'm a comedian, you know what I mean? I criticize people. I'm a comedian.
The reason why Ethan calls himself a comedian is not because he's actually funny. It's because he wants to be able to say shit without having any journalistic ethics, without having the responsibility of making sure it's accurate, without the responsibility of correcting himself if he's wrong. He's not a comedian because he's haha funny. He's a comedian because he's lazy and he thinks that that's an out. He gets to talk about all of the, current affairs and issues and state opinions, but when it's proven that he's made those opinions based off of bullshit, he could just throw his hands up and go, "I'm just a little boy comedian. I'm a small bean." As if that frees him from the responsibility to tell the truth. That makes defamation okay. Chaotic, thanks for the 10 tier 1s. And so he can make racial jokes and call it edgy. He's a comedian in the same sense you were a lawyer? No. Actually, no. I was definitely much more of a lawyer than he was a comedian. Like, for example, I practiced in securities arbitration. Like I actually had clients before, in my securities arbitration work. I like, you know what I mean? Like I worked at the Committee of Urban Affairs working with, attorneys writing legislation. Like, so that's wrong. Like I've done more with the law, both educationally and professionally, than he's ever done with comedy, right? Like, has Ethan ever done a set? Has Ethan ever gone to an open mic?
First of all, I'm a comedian, so anything
not
I
really a
say
good comparison.
being considered defamation is almost like impossible. I had an idea, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm a comedian, you know, I'm out here, I'm in different lanes. I'm a professional comedian. Are any of them? I'm a professional comedian, you know what I mean? I'm the last line of defense, okay? I'm a professional comedian. Do you know that?
You know you're winning the debate when you start bringing up theories about Hassan's dog Kaya or who cooks him food off camera.
Comedian, in air quotes.
Ooh! Ooh!
I didn't even hear what you said.
Not funny.
Air quotes.
Not funny. Just like you're a socialist. By the way, theory time, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hassan.
Average person discussing socialist theory has never read a book. If you've never read a book in your entire life, I don't respect you. There, I said it. There, I said it. If you've never read one book, it can be a stupid book. It could be a bodice ripper. It could be Goosebumps. I don't give a fuck. If you never read a book, that's just sad. Read a fucking book.
Says he adopted his dog. He went all over LA looking for the perfect dog. Oh, I went to all of these pounds. I couldn't find the perfect dog.
First of all, can I just say for a second that Ethan Klein is fucking stupid? Can I just say straight off, you're a dumb fuck? There is absolutely nothing wrong with trying to find the dog that'll work with your family and will enhance your life and making sure it's a good fit. Like, that's you're a fucking loser, dude. You're taking on the responsibility for a creature for the next 10, 12, 15 years of your life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking it slow, making sure it fits in, making sure it fulfills your needs, because dogs can do jobs as well, and they can enhance your life. Like, if you're a famous person or a micro celebrity, having a dog that's a little bit larger, who will bark, who will guard your homes from fucking psychos and freaks, like, you know, is a valuable asset. They can help protect the family while being a companion. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's probably a good idea for safety. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? This is just weird shit. I mean, you killed your dog by feeding it too much cheese, and you're gonna talk about other people respectfully and responsibly choosing the right companion? You are a fucking loser. Bro, he did what? Yes, I know. He had this dog and he fed it too much cheese and it like died.
But then magically,
got really sick. I can't remember which one.
Off camera, I found on Craigslist this post where they were giving away $20,000 designer dogs. And I was so lucky. Hassan Piker.
Okay, what's the evidence that Kaya is a $20,000 designer dog? What is the evidence that she's a $20,000 designer dog? Is he just making this up? What, like... This is where I got the idea that Ethan Klein killed his dog.
Apparently, like, sodium is really fucking bad for their kidney. And I never heard that. And I was giving Shredder, like, cheese. He loves cheese. And I was always sprinkling cheese on his fucking food. And I just wish to fuck. And I'm so pissed at the stupid fucking... Apparently, like, sodium is really fucking bad for their kidney. And I never heard that. And I was giving Shredder, like, cheese. He loves cheese. And I was always sprinkling cheese on his fucking food. And I just wish to fuck. And I'm so pissed at the stupid fucking... Apparently, like, sodium is...
Notice, this is a narcissist. This is actually a good clip of Ethan being a narcissist. Because notice that he did the action that harmed the animal. And then instead of saying, in the future, I need to make sure to be more aware of what my dog needs, and that was a boneheaded mistake, and I feel terrible and it's my fault. He says, I'm so mad at, I guess, the vet or somebody else, right? It's everybody else's fault than him that he hurt the dog. This man has children. Thank God he hasn't. Like, there's a few people, like, for example, Destiny doesn't live with his son and doesn't really interact with him very much. That's good, right? Like, I'm glad. Like, normally you would be like, oh man, deadbeat dad, you know, you have an internet job. Why aren't you living in the same city as your son? But on the other hand, with Destiny, it's like, good. The less contact you have, the better. With Ethan, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe he has a housekeeper and a nanny and there's like, Ethan Klein is having drama with his staff. He's like an English fucking lord with all the staff that are milling around. There's drama in politics with Ethan Klein's household staff. And normally that would be something to criticize him for. Like, do your own fucking laundry, dude. This isn't 1880 where you have to scrub it, you know, with boiling hot water on a like ripple board, right? You just throw it into a fucking washing machine and you put soap in it and you press wash. And then you move it from the washing machine to the dryer and you press dry. Like, it's not exactly super complicated to do laundry in the 21st century, right? But no, it's fine. He can't do his own laundry, right? But in his case, I'm glad because, like, who do you want raising his kids? Ethan Klein or some nanny? I will go with the nanny. His children will have a chance of being empathetic, kind human beings.
Can anybody find me a Craigslist post where they're giving away $20,000 designer dogs? Because I'd like to inquire. He bought that dog, and he doesn't want to admit it, obviously. And by the way, I don't know. That's not the only lie he tells about his personal life. I did a story about.
This is just, by the way, Ethan Klein begging to be sued by Hassan. Like, he's just lying and defaming Hassan. And this is the tactic of somebody like Ethan Klein. He just makes accusations about you, and then you have to defend yourself. That's his, and because Ethan Klein is a scumbag and nobody respects his reputation. Like, he doesn't have a reputation, right? This is an advantage for Ethan. Like, nobody's gonna go like, wow, this guy is a you know, he's a really well thought of in the political world, right? So when he makes an accusation, it's zero cost because he doesn't have a reputation. Right? So when he trashes me or Hassan or Denims or Frogan or anyone else, it's from a position of we can't fight back because how can you damage Ethan Klein's reputation? It's in the dumps. But he does have an audience, right? And that audience will you know, spread that information to people who do have reputations, and then they'll get this idea about people. That's the whole plan. That's the Destiny Klein plan. They don't have a reputation of their own. You know, this guy's in blackface. He's got an N-word compilation longer than any other compilation of his comedy. Like, there's nothing we can do to damage Ethan Klein's reputation. Ethan Klein's reputation is non-existent. But he can go around and just spread lies about everybody. And now the response is, oh, if it's not true, then give us, you know, show us your whole bank account so we can investigate it for non-socialist purposes. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Kaya is a Tibetan Mastiff, Chow Chow, and St. Bernard cross. So no, you can buy that breed mix for $2K. I mean, that's a mutt.
But people didn't pick it up. But I don't give a fuck. This guy's a piece of shit. People need to ask Hassan who's cooking his chicken off screen. Who's cooking that chicken? Who's taking care of him?
Kaya was literally rehomed from another family. They decided against keeping her because of their newborn.
Something he goes, don't tell anyone though, for obvious reasons. Somebody's cooking his chicken, and they don't look like they're getting a piece of the pie either. You know what I mean? They're not on that socialist. They're not on that socialized workplace salary. You know what I mean? Cooking chicken's a big deal. That's integral to his daily routine. Of course she's entitled to 1% of his profits. Duh. Socialism, bro. Live it, bro. Live it.
What the? Dan hitting the chicken sound effect.
Be the socialist you say you are.
Failure to provide meal and rest period. Failure to pay overtime. For failure to pay state and local minimum wage. Failure to pay all wages due. Uh-oh.
I think this is an important time to mention that it's well-known lore that Ethan was neglected as a child and was often sent to school.
That makes so much sense. Honestly, Ethan, do you need a hug, man? Do you need a hug?
With zero food to eat and zero lunch money.
My parents didn't take care of me as a kid when they cooked, which was rare.
Aren't his parents rich? Like, I remember him talking about when he was gonna the one clip I saw of Hassan, the one thing that I ever saw of his content before Leftovers was his proposal story. You guys know his proposal story? Basically, his mom, you know, made it happen. So she showed up one day with like a handful of like diamond rings. Like she pulled from her like jewelry box a handful of diamond rings and said, pick one of these rings and go propose to Gila right now. And he took one of the rings and he put it into a butt wipes package and he went to the bath and he put it on like the table and then he went and took a shit. And then he called out to Gila, hey, Gila, can you bring me butt wipes? There's none in the shitter. And so she came in and he said, open the butt wipes. And she opened it and the ring was there. And he said, will you marry me? With his pants around his ankles, taking a shit. But the important part of that story is that he had a handful of rings. He had a handful of rings. Somebody could find the story. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. I'm going by memory here. There might be some details that are, I don't know. Maybe he didn't actually take a shit. I don't know. That's the one. I don't know if he was really taking a shit or he's pretending to take a shit. I'm not sure about that. Either way, it's either one of the two. But the important part of the story to rewind was his mom showing up with like handfuls of diamond rings. So his mom, I don't think they were poor, right? Gila also says she hates that story.
It was just awful. I didn't eat. I would starve. It was that bad. I used to go to school. My parents wouldn't give me money, and they didn't.
Let's be real as well. Gila looks exactly like his mother. I don't know what his mother looks like.
Make me a lunch. I would just starve. I would beg for food.
Mike, he wasn't shitting, and it was literally old trash rings worth nothing. Oh, okay. That might be true.
From my friends. Straight up, I would beg for food from my friends. I was a
fair enough.
Homeless child.
Ethan can't even fathom the idea of a loving parent.
His whole shtick for the past year has been saying liberal Zionist talking points and then getting mad at everyone when they go, are you a Zionist?
What liberal... Bro, the fantasy world that they've built is incredible. What liberal Zionist talk... What is a liberal Zionist talking?
That's why, like, talking about politics with these uneducated internet fucking dorks that got famous because they did YouTube first or streaming first. It's like talking to Ethan or talking to Asmongold. They have like a elementary school level education, like failed out of middle school social studies level education. I mean, it's like legitimately, and like they don't even have the wherewithal to be embarrassed about it. This is like if somebody started asking me about the history of blues. I don't know. If somebody's like, hey, Mike, what's the latest dance music craze? I don't know. You're never going to hear me talking about that shit because I don't know. It's like, Mike, what's the best strategy in, what's the sport that I know nothing about? Field hockey. I don't know. Cricket. I don't know. I don't play those games. I don't watch those games. What is liberal Zionism? Okay. Liberal Zionism. Liberal Zionism, although not associated with any single party in modern Israel, remains a strong trend in Israeli politics advocating free market principles, democracy, and adherence to human rights. Liberal Zionism, a pillar of Israel's settler colonial project. The failure of liberal Zionism, David Klein. The Israel-Hamas war and the return of liberal Zionism, Vox. On empathy and other liberal Zionist canards. The unraveling of liberal Zionism. In defense of liberal Zionism. Like, it's a major political strain within the history of Israel. Just read. I mean, you're going to inject yourself into discussions about Israel and politics and you don't know basic shit?
Point.
Ethan did so much research for this video, but has yet to understand what a liberal Zionist talking point is. Here are just a few examples.
People who would like to criticize the army in Israel need to understand that it's a daily threat that something needs to happen about it. It's not like we have a choice.
When you talk about privilege, let's talk about someone who's going to UC Berkeley, paid by their parents $200,000 tuition on campus protesting Israel. Do you find?
Please don't go through with the things that aren't established, like his parents' wealth. It's low-hanging fruit for these freaks. Enough fucked up shit that's confirmed. You know what I mean? No, you're totally right. I want to apologize for speculating about his parents' wealth. I don't know if his parents are poor or not. I don't know. I honestly don't know. You're right. I don't know anything about Ethan. Honestly, I was not an Ethan watcher. I don't know anything about Ethan. So if Ethan gave up, you know, if his parents gave him a bunch of trash rings, I don't know. I was going off this of half-remembered story. I don't know if they're poor or not. I really don't. And it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if they were poor or not. Woke of the day? No, the person's right. I shouldn't give them low-hanging fruit. Like, Ethan Klein will never, ever address what I'm saying on the merits. He will try to find low-hanging fruit or any kind of detail about his biography to talk about that I don't know because I'm not a fan and I don't watch him. Ethan's grandfather was a writer for the TV show Dallas. Oh. Yeah, don't post stuff about his family, guys. You're just going to... Don't post like links to his family and stuff like that because you're just going to get us in trouble. As a former H3 fan, I think he was like upper middle class coming up. Oh, is that right? Okay. I mean, maybe he'll be able to tell. My family, I'll tell you about my family. My mom had me when she was 22 years old, and my dad was a military officer. So when I was the first child, right? And when I was growing up, they didn't have a ton of money, but my mom was a stay-at-home mom and took care of us. And you know, I was never homeless, but, you know, they didn't have a lot of extra money, right? And my dad was frequently set, you know, overseas. It is what it is, you know? When I was leaving home, my dad finally got a really good career. He retired from the military, and then he got a really good career. So when I left home, my parents were just becoming really successful in their own lives. When I left home in 2002, they were like on the upswing, right? My mom wasn't even 40 yet. If you want to understand like how young my parents were. So they were starting to have like a success in life. But I was gone. They didn't give me any money. I got a full ride to go to school, to undergrad. They never gave me $1 for school. They may have given me a little bit of money over the years, but like, oh, I don't have enough money for rent. Can I borrow $500? Oh, I need filling in my tooth. Can I borrow $100? Like, that's the type of stuff. Like, my parents didn't give me shit. That's not true of my sisters, but I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. But like, now now they're doing great. Now they're successful and I'm happy for them. But like, I paid for my whole law school. I paid for, you know, I paid for my schooling. They didn't pay shit. I took on all that debt. I went to public schools my entire life. Because I couldn't afford anything else.
Find that ironic?
Link to video? Oh yeah, good point. Can you pin this?
I personally think it's so ironic. I don't know, it's kids sitting here in like beautiful California criticizing, like you don't even know what you're talking about.
What you hear is people criticizing national security and calling Israel like apartheid, and that they shouldn't have fences, or that Israel should be a one state with Palestinians and Israel's all living together. They should reduce the borders and remove the gate. That to me seems like super ignorant.
It is, because when I grew up, I couldn't really take a bus.
The walls are in the occupied West Bank, man. The walls are in the occupied territory that are not part of Israel, where millions of Israelis are going to settle and take land.
I was afraid of blowing up.
Right.
And now it doesn't really happen. So the wall did help.
Okay, so what they're saying is Israel, if they had a one-state, binational state where Palestinians and Israelis were all citizens and they all had freedom of conscience and they lived together, that there would be random terrorist attacks on Israeli civilians. This is the exact arguments they made against removing apartheid in South Africa or ending slavery or Jim Crow in the South. It's just not true. It didn't happen.
There's a state of Palestine, it makes sense. But if you're in one state, all that's going to happen is like everybody is trying to bring as many people there as possible. And like by the time, there frankly are a lot of Palestinians, right, in the area. And once the Palestinians outnumber the Jews, basically anything is fair game for the Jews, anything.
So in this response, Hassan calls out Ethan for, quote, crying like a bitch in their last conversation on Palestine.
You can talk to me in person, big dog. You got my phone number. We can have a conversation on your stream. We can have a conversation on my stream. Last time, I had the baby gloves on, and you cried like a bitch after doing Teddy Fresh ads in the midst of our genocide coverage.
Ethan sees this as an opportunity to dunk on Hassan for being some sort of toxic masculinity frat bro.
So Hassan says, last time, which was our last conversation on his stream, I had the baby gloves on, which was part of, I was like, dude, why are you patronizing me? And he goes, and then you cried like a bitch. Once again, this dude is against toxic masculinity. Apparently, he's a role model for leftist values. The frat bro veneer it's rearing its head. I'm telling you.
Ethan Klein being like, oh, he's a frat bro. I think Ethan Klein is kind of appealing to his audience of people who didn't have friends in high school. It's one of the funniest things I get from DGGers in particular is projection. Like, DGGers will reply to me and be like, you're mad because you're an incel. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about, man? It's like, you're mad because you're a loser. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I literally work a business that I created for myself on hours I set for myself. I have complete freedom to live anywhere in the world. Long-term relationship. Ton of friends that are all hotter than me. Like, how many of you are in friend groups where everyone is hotter than you? That's a W in my book. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Me, that's right. Caught. That's all of us. But it's yeah, Alyssa, it's projection. Yes, it's always projection. It's always weird. Like, people say shit to me and I'm like, bro, I try to talk to them. Honestly, when somebody does that, I'm like, okay, why do you think this? Why do you think this? I always try to like understand it. I think it's weird because, like, I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm a 40-year-old white, straight, cis man from Pennsylvania in a long-term relationship, and people are trying to razz me for having a beer gut. I'm thin in Pennsylvania. What are you talking about? Have you been to New York? I'm thin in New York City, for fuck's sake. Have you been to Philadelphia? When they see me eat a cheesesteak, they're like, only one cheesesteak, Mike? I'm a Pennsylvania 10. But the reason why I bring this up is because it is funny and I want them to keep doing it. I want them to keep making fun of me. It's like, bro, what do you think this is? Do I need to be an OnlyFans model? Like, what are you talking about? This is politics. This is ugly people, Hollywood. That's what they call, you know what they call Washington, D.C.? Ugly people, Hollywood. I'm a DC 10. Like, what are you talking about? This is great. I think the most powerful thing you could do for yourself in stream, Mike, is to start working out and eating right. I legit can't wait for you to go on that journey. The only reason I would want to get back in the gym is functional strength. Like, I was thinking about getting into, I want to get back into flying. So I was going to look for a gliding club. I've always wanted to get my parachuting license. That was like an old thing of mine. I mean, I know how to I can fly light planes, and I've flown gliders before. I just want to get back into my old hobbies. And I'm a little bit of an adrenaline guy, so I need to get back into that. I've been very much like with the pandemic, I just became kind of like more online than I was normal to. Don't blow out your knees. I come from a long line of aviators and parachutists, so I'm not worried. The best thing Mike could do for his stream is the hot tub stream he's been promising. True. I just actually imagined parachute and I peed my pants. Oh. Adult hockey league? Man, I would be gassed in a hockey shift right now. Am I a coaster drunkie? Yeah, I like coasters. They're all right. The pandemic wrecked me and my husband's social life. We're now just getting back into the world. One of the things I want to do, if I'm being like really egomaniacal, is I want to build more left-wing social clubs. Just in general. People made fun of the New York City DSA for doing a date night, and I kind of understand why, because anyone else dating is very cringe and embarrassing, and it's fun to make fun of. But I don't think that they were totally off base. Like, I feel like having more social clubs and IRL things that are not just doing work is a good idea. It's what they used to do. Like, if you look at like socialist parties in Europe, they used to do stuff like that. They would have like the socialist daycare. They'd have like the socialist, skeet shooting club, and the socialist rowing club, and the socialist hiking club, and just like stuff like that. Things that you can take care of with like-minded people, so you don't always have to feel like socialism equals work. There's a knitting group that just sprung up my little city, and I was thinking of joining and taking the temperature of it. Yeah. We've been integrating that into our own chapter here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Isn't all daycare socialist by definition? It is kind of a socialist idea, actually. You're right. The Soviet Union was very, very like this is one of the funniest things that people kind of know, but they don't really know, is that like women were just much happier and are happier in socialist societies. Like this is just a well-studied and well-understood fact. Basically, feminism and racial equality are socialist ideas, and that is true. And they studied it, and they found that like women from East Germany had twice as many orgasms as women from West Germany. Yeah, a comparative sociological study of East and West German women conducted after reunification found that Eastern women had twice as many orgasms as Western women. Researchers marveled at the disparity in reported sexual satisfaction, especially since East German women suffered from the notorious double burden of formal employment and housework. In contrast, post-war West German women had stayed home and enjoyed all the labor-saving devices produced by the roaring capitalist economy, but they had less sex, less satisfying sex, and than women who had to line up for the toilet paper. Yeah. Because sex is transactional in capitalism, it's also a reason why rape culture is so prevalent. Very true. I mean, if you go back and study the time, you'll find that like women as equal citizens is a far left idea.
Telling you, this whole left-wing illusion is falling to the wayside. You say I cried like a bitch.
And only 2 days after the fact, Ethan went on a misogynistic rant about denims, where he called her a disgusting bitch several times. Of course, while his crew was dead silent.
And yes, she is a fucking bitch. Somebody that laughs in the face of other fucking rape victims and immediately calls them liars, that's a fucking bitch of a person.
There are reports of Palestinian women in captivity talking about that experience.
Let's see. I found
That's
one
really
of the
gross,
sources. One of them ones that he quoted was like, I don't even know what the this is. Care.com. It's literally just like a little blurb. That's a huge claim. 15 Palestinian women were what? I don't know what this is. What is this? Is this a source?
You're asking if it's credible.
Yeah.
Yes, Care is credible. I think, at least.
What is
Care is
There's no source. She is earning the coveted distinction of being a fucking bitch. Congratulations. Enjoy the distinction. I've come here and I've made the distinction. I have
leader Yahya Sinwar as appointed. Welcome back. Hamas has appointed its leader. De-escalate tensions.
Diplomacy with
Hamas's military.
Okay, they just literally... I thought they were going to have a video on this, but apparently not. U.S. decries reported sexual abuse of Palestinian prisoners after graphic video aired on Israeli TV. We have seen the video, and the reports of sexual abuse of detainees are horrific, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said. Allegations of sexual abuse by Palestinian prisoners by members of the Israeli military are horrific, the United States said, after a graphic video broadcast on Israeli news added fuel to mounting criticism of the U.S. allies' conduct in the war in Gaza. Earlier this week, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller responded to a question about a video shown on Israeli's Channel 12, the country's most watched commercial station, that alleged to show the abuse of a Palestinian man at Said Taiman, a military facility where thousands of Palestinians have been detained since October. We have seen the video, and reports of sexual abuse of detainees are horrific. So not only is there evidence of a sexual assault, there's a video that was broadcast live. Mike, that pronunciation was crazy. Yeah, I can't pronounce non-English things. Don't ask me. What is it? Sidday Taimon? Is that how you say it? Thank you. Sidday Taimon. Thank you.
Creed. Let it be known.
Sorry about that, chat. Honestly, you know what would be cool? If they just put pronunciation guides in articles. Who knows how to pronounce shit that's not English? Like, come on. Help a white brother out. Man, I used to be an H3 fan. I wouldn't know Hassan or Central Committee if it wasn't for me watching H3. I don't even recognize the guy anymore. I think there was a time when he was on the right path, but moly is he a completely different person in these recent clips. The answer of what happened is Sidday Timan. Okay, that's what I said. Thank you. The reality of Ethan Klein is his identity is built around being an Israeli, right? And when the entire world is criticizing Israel for committing war crimes against people that Ethan doesn't consider to be equal human beings, that's frustrating. That's alienating for him, right? Like, he's like, but they're Palestinians. Why do you care if they get killed? Right? Like that's like for him, it doesn't even enter into his mind that Israeli life is equal to a Palestinian life. That one Palestinian dying is just as tragic as one Israeli dying. That doesn't come into his mind, right? To him, Palestinians are collectively responsible for the crimes that any other Palestinian commits. The idea that Palestinians would ever fight back against what Israel is doing to them is a crime in his mind. And what Israel is doing to Palestinians is forever justified by stuff that other Palestinians did in the past. And he just can't accept the idea that you could look at that situation and come out to the side that Israel is oppressing the Palestinians on a racially biased manner that is unjustified and shouldn't be supported by the United States with our money, our diplomatic cover, our military assistance, and our, verbal support. To him, that's not even in the realm of possibility. And so that alienation from the rest of us is causing him a mental breakdown, because you're attacking a fundamental position of his entire life, that Israel is justified in its actions toward the Palestinians, and that anything that questions the nature of Israel as an ethno-state, as an apartheid state, as an occupier, is an attack on Ethan. And you're never going to change his mind. You're never going to change his mind. The only way his mind will be changed is if Israel is isolated by the international community like South Africa was, sanctioned, boycotted, and forced to come to a final conclusion that gives Palestinians equal status and ends the racial apartheid regime. And then Israel will be allowed to heal, and Palestinians will be allowed to heal. And then over the course of decades, Ethan might look back and say, my fears about Palestinians, getting revenge on us were all wrong. And his mind will align with the new reality and retroactively edit what he used to believe. That's what happened in the American South. That's what happened in South Africa. Most people in the American South today, if you called them racist, would be like, I'm not racist. But 30, 40 years ago, they were all racist. All white people in the South were openly willing to say they were racist. Now they're not, because they're editing what they thought, what they believe now, and they're casting that into the past. And that's what would happen to Ethan. So if you want to change Ethan's mind, you have to go around Ethan, and you have to change Israel. Also, if you put an end to the apartheid state, you take away any form of power from Hamas, because you take away the very reason for the existence of this organization. I mean, it would go a long way. Absolutely. I don't understand. If he thinks Twitch is an echo chamber, why not stream there? Ew. Don't give him ideas. I don't want him here.
Denims is a dumb fucking bitch. She deserved that. What she was doing, I'm standing by every syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way...
Oh, and I got another shout out in this video. Thanks for keeping the Comrade Casey spirit alive.
You spent the next year constantly ripping into, suspiciously, a lot of, not myself, but other people of color. I'm not calling myself a person of color. I know it's going to get clipped out of context here as well. And then you're going to be like, meh, 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 whatever. No, just noticing that you have just been going after a lot of...
This guy is really throwing spaghetti at the wall. He's accused me of being racist. And that, to me, is like, my eyes rolled all the way in the back of my head if I had a seizure. Going after brown people, I'm assuming he's talking about people like Frogan and others who, by the way, I have never attacked unprovoked. Every single time I've talked about Frogan was a direct response to her. Every time. So what, she's brown? That's your takeaway? Is that because she's brown? That's the only reason I care, that she's making fun of October 7th victims? That she's brown? That's for real? Are you being serious right now? Are you actually being serious right now? You're actually making this point right now. Okay, exactly. This is the brown people he's talking about. Yeah, Casey, Comrade Casey, who's waiting for a hot, bodacious hijabi babe in the park.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Let's not forget about that. That's what woke leftist non-toxic masculinity looks like.
So this is the part of the video that I love so much. Because Ethan did basically zero research for his big content nuke that took 2 months, he makes a fool of himself twice with this one clip. First, it's on H3 Show 105, where Ethan reacts to a compilation of Hassan calling Jewish supremacists inbred.
Inbred. Douchebags in the background.
Like, these are just dudes standing back there.
A nation entirely
Like,
comprised of messy.
And this is an ongoing like joke with this community. These are just benign dudes. Just I don't know what the they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or boxes or something, like they're helping. And he's going, "Oh, look at these inbred fucks." It's like, bro, who are you? What are you? Who are you? Like, how dare you?
Yeah, so Ethan just straight up admits that he used footage as evidence in his content nuke without even understanding the context of the clip itself. It's almost like he didn't clip this himself from the original source, but instead found the clip online, probably on one specific subreddit. In this clip, Hassan is watching a group of Jewish supremacist Nazis, basically, blocking aid trucks from entering Gaza. And
actually, Frogan said she was sad that Ethan unfollowed her. That's what started his attacks on Frogan. Frogan said she was sad to see that he unfollowed her. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, she was just like, oh, damn, like, you know, I was really sad that Ethan unfollowed me. That's what brought it all on.
Stealing and destroying the aid inside. They're not doing charity like Ethan thinks they are.
This comes just days after Israeli settlers blocked aid trucks headed to Gaza through the occupied West Bank from Jordan. Footage of the incident shows settlers raiding the aid trucks, throwing food into the road and setting fire to vehicles at the Tarkumia checkpoint near Hebron in the occupied West Bank.
So this is the raw clip that Hassan was looking at. These are far-right radical settlers destroying and blocking aid trucks and destroying the aid and stealing the aid. Ethan Klein said that these people were doing charity. They were actually doing the opposite of charity. They were sabotaging charity.
Palestinian truck drivers say they fear for their lives after the attack.
We went to the checkpoint, and after the check, we were surprised to see settlers on the roundabout of the checkpoint. They damaged the cars, they tore the tires off the trucks, they threw the contents of the truck on the ground. We gathered some of the products and sent some of those products onto a bulldozer and sent them to the sheep farms. Around 15 trucks were damaged. Their hull was damaged, windows of the trucks were broken, some drivers were beaten, some of the products were thrown away, and the whole loss for Hebron is around $2 million.
And then on H3 Show 107, Ethan reacts to Hassan watching this clip, but once again takes it out of context and makes himself look like a fool all over again.
And at a certain point, people are going to be like, you're using these sorts of clips out of context?
Bro, he is so pathetic. First of all, he hasn't watched the video. And this is like one of his main go-tos for any criticism. It's always like out of context, out of context, out of context. He hasn't watched the video. What's out of context, bro? Your reaction is out of context. You got no context.
Notice how you move the needle? You move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I describe to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the...
But you didn't...
What is he talking about?
Apparently a chatter is calling him out like, he says, how do you know the context? You haven't watched the video, I'm assuming. Was it? But then he goes, oh, really? Well, you moved the goalpost. It's like, but you didn't answer. You didn't tell him what the context is. So there was no kick. When you move the goalpost, you're moving it further from the kick. There's no kick.
At a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect, do you like being incorrect?
Can anybody tell me what the he's talking about? He hasn't.
The answer is, so in case you're like, what's going on right now? Basically, Ethan Klein took a clip that was edited by DGG to remove the part where Hassan showed his chat the context of the clip, where it was a news report of these far-right settlers attacking the aid convoy, and then he later called them inbred fucks, right? He called the far-right settlers inbred fucks for destroying the humanitarian aid convoy and attacking it, right? And then Ethan Klein used a clip of him saying inbred fucks, and then said that he didn't even know what these guys, he called these guys doing charity inbred fucks, implying that Hassan is anti-Semitic, right? Anti-Semitic Hassan sees Jews doing charity and calls them inbred fucks, right? That was Ethan Klein's argument. And then what we actually found out was, no, these were not random Jews doing charity. These were far-right settlers attacking a humanitarian aid convoy, beating the drivers, damaging the truck, stealing the product. And Hassan, seeing that, like any normal person would, was outraged and insulted them as scumbags that they are, right? And then Ethan Klein, and then a chatter was attacking Hassan, and Hassan showed this whole thing and proved that that clip wasn't what Ethan Klein said it was, and then was talking to the chatter and showed how that chatter was a lying, bad faith scumbag who doesn't care about the truth, who doesn't care about the context, who just wants to attack Hassan because he's mad that sex pestity is falling off for being a sex criminal, right? And then Ethan Klein, and so they made an edited clip on DGG where they removed the context, and then Ethan Klein played that edited clip on his stream because he's a Destiny fan. He's a DGGer. He doesn't care that Destiny is sexually harassing and blackmailing dozens of women. He doesn't give a fuck, right? He doesn't care about, he just is obsessed with Hassan and trying to attack somebody who criticizes Israel fairly and in context. That is Ethan Klein. And the video is going to show you exactly where the edited part's out. And now Ethan Klein is going to his audience and lying again because he's a liar. And he's saying, oh, Hassan just won't watch the video. Hassan won't address the criticisms. In a clip where Hassan is directly addressing the video's clips and criticism, Ethan Klein goes to his audience, edits the clip, edits out the context, and lies to his audience. Ethan Klein, you are a fucking liar.
Watched it. He hasn't cited anything that's out of context. He's talking about, oh, you're incorrect and you like... What is he talking about? How do people watch him? He literally will talk and drone on about nothing. He just regurgitates words. It's just word vomit.
Like, what are you talking about? You're making it seem like this is a formative work. It's very clear what the intention of the video is.
Dude, you haven't seen it.
And also, notice how you move the needle. You move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I describe to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the video.
You didn't do the context thing. You didn't explain
At a certain point, at a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect,
brain dead.
Do you like being
I honestly don't know if Ethan Klein is a complete and utter liar or he's just dumber than dirt. I'm going to go with both.
Correct. I guess you do.
How do you know they're incorrect? He's not. What is he saying?
If you missed it, here's the part of the video Ethan very conveniently skips over.
Chatter was asking for how certain things are clipped out of context. Here, this is a great example. Inbred douchebags in the background.
This is just dudes standing back there,
entirely comprised of
and this is an ongoing joke with this community. These are just benign dudes. Just I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It looks like they're doing charity or something. It looks like they've got water or box.
They're doing charity. Remember, by the way, this is a video that he quote unquote researched for months.
Or something like they're helping, and he's going, "Oh, look at these." It's like, bro, who are you? Who are you? Like, how dare you?
Guys, the Israeli police is investigating the attack on the Gaza aid convoy.
Israeli security forces are paid to stop this happening. They either could not or would not, but clearly did not prevent Israeli settlers attacking an aid convoy yesterday from the West Bank bound for Gaza, where, say aid agencies, hundreds of thousands of civilians face famine.
But during the unloading and loading, settlers attacked these trucks, destroying the products and burning them in a systematic act of sabotage.
A continuation of images seen yesterday as settlers destroyed food at the same crossing point.
So, does that make sense? Do you understand now? And I mean every single clip that he used, every single one is exactly like this. Where's that one chatter who asked that question? I assume he f***ed off immediately after coming in and saying like this is, no, he said some other stupid shit. I mean, that's clearly not the messaging of the video. If you're saying his claim is you scared him, do you have any media literacy whatsoever? Do you think I need media literacy to understand a YouTube drama slop video? Like, what are you talking about? You're making it seem like this is a formative work. It's very clear what the intention of the video is. And also, notice how you move the needle, you move the goalpost. I said that it's out of context. You demanded I describe to you what the context is, and you immediately moved on, and you're like, well, that's not the major point of the.
But you didn't.
What is he talking about?
Apparently, a chatter is calling him out like, he says, how do you know the context? You didn't watch the video. I'm assuming it was it. But then he goes, oh, really? Well, you moved the goalpost. It's like, but you didn't answer. You didn't tell him what the context is. So.
So what can you say other than Ethan Klein is caught being a complete liar? What can you say? He's a completed other. Either Ethan Klein is so incompetent and stupid that he didn't even bother to check, or he's knowingly lying. So either he's dumber than fucking dirt and he believes DGG unironically, which wouldn't surprise me, or he's a dishonest liar, to, manipulating his audience. What more do you need to say? What more do you need to say? This is Ethan Klein. This is who he is. Now, if you think this is okay, then you're unreachable as a person. You are a bad person. Like, objectively, you are a bad person. Because Ethan Klein is trying to say that Hassan was anti-Semitic for calling terrorists who were attacking civilian humanitarian aid convoys. That's a real terrorist. That's a real terrorist. He's trying to call everybody else a terrorist and a racist and an anti-Semite while he's defending and lying about criminal Israeli settler terrorists.
There's no kick. When you move the goalpost, you're moving it further from the kick. There's no kick.
So fucking stupid.
At a certain point, you have to understand, like, okay, well, if this is incorrect, do you like being incorrect?
Can anybody tell me what the he's talking about? He hasn't watched it. He hasn't cited anything that's out of context. He's talking about, oh, you're incorrect and you like. What is he talking about? How do people watch him? He literally will talk and drone on about nothing.
I mean, how
does he just think that people will pick his shit apart? Actually, this is the Destiny spiral. Like, this is the Destiny spiral. I've seen it happen so many times because I've been an enemy of DGG for over 6 years. I know what it looks like. They do this shit where they take something out of context. They create a whole story about it. They tell each other that they believe it. And then they'll come into like my chat or they'll come in Hassan's chat and they'll say the like context they spun up and it immediately fails, right? Like it immediately fails because I'm like, okay, I'll talk about that in 5 minutes. Okay, and that's it. Bye-bye. The entire thing that they've been yelling at each other for years immediately falls apart because it's not true. And all that ends up happening is the people who realize that they're lying about this start falling away from DGG. They start falling away from Ethan Klein, and he just sees a spiral of failure. The only content creator who's ever seen success from this is Destiny, because he attracts just little trolls and minions. But everyone normal leaves. Every orbiter fails. And right now, Ethan Klein is on terminal orbiter decline. It happens with every single Destiny orbiter. They go, they end up in this spiral and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. And more normal people, honest people, see what he's doing and they're just disgusted by it and they leave. This is what happens. It happens every time. And let me tell you, like, it's happening to Ethan. Like it's costing him, and it'll continue to cost him. His H3 podcast views are at an all-time low. An all-time low, folks. January was an all-time motherfucking low. He's in negative subscriptions. This is 0, by the way. Right here, this horizontal line is 0. He's negative. Since October 2023. He's in the negatives. A good month is when he doesn't lose any subscribers. All-time low in views, down, 60,000 plus subscribers over the last 30 days. Like, it's hopeless.
How can you be so confident in your hallucinations that you make such a foolish error? I guess when your very progressive audience gets replaced with Destiny fans who flood your subreddit with clipped out of context footage, that's how it happens. Oh, but Ethan doesn't know Destiny, so that can't possibly be the case. Even though this post and this post and this post and this post were either from the Destiny subreddit or from the H3 subreddit posted by someone active on the Destiny subreddit. I mean, just look at this chart from overlapping communities on Reddit. The
H3 Productions. Overlap communities. Oh, this is funny. H3 Productions overlap Destiny 22.1%. That's crazy.
This chart from overlapping communities on Reddit. The blowback from the content nuke really started to materialize in H3 show 106.
Hello, my friends. We are here. We are back. There's just way too much to talk about. Never ending, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to Gamer Subs for sponsoring us today. Thank you to the gang. What's up, people of the world?
The content nuke clearly didn't work as intended, so Ethan begins gleefully reacting to Trump saying he's going to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip, all the while Ethan blaming this on Hassan.
Trump has had some brilliant ideas on Gaza, once again reminding people that I voted and advocated for Kamala Harris, and Hassan did not.
But Israel is not saying it's a bad idea, Ethan. You say Israel good, but Israel is going along with Trump. Netanyahu is going along with Trump. So isn't that the more important thing? Instead of like a streamer in LA who voted for Kamala to his great forever shame. By the way, I didn't vote for Kamala Harris because she's a genocider. But the idea that Israel is the good guys as they're gleefully glowing along with it, you're an Israeli supporter, man. Don't you need to spend some time maybe criticizing your own side?
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I envision a world, people living there, the world's people.
He thinks that Hassan and I have more influence than Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Because it's not about me or Hassan. If me or Hassan said, ignore the genocide, vote for Kamala, you know what would have happened? People would have hated our guts because we were ignoring a genocide. And they could see it with their own eyes. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have it. We're not your kings. You watch me because you agree with my analysis and you agree with my opinions. And you want to learn the things that I know. And you want to have a community of like-minded. If I just decided to abandon my values for political expediency, I wouldn't have the audience I do. You believe what I believe because I can explain it. I can justify it. Not because I'm some sort of God king.
I think you'll make that into an international unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable.
And you know he's going to call it like the Trump Strip.
Mara Gaza.
Mara Gaza?
Mara Gaza.
And I'll tell you who wouldn't be clearing out Gaza to build casinos. Kamala Harris.
I think it's
I
safe
can with
to say
100% certainty say that the two candidates are not the same. I did my part to stop this. I wish I could say the same for other folks. It's a shame. I want to say this right now. If you are a leftist who said, I'm abstaining from voting for...
Is that safe to say? A Western diplomat in Cairo, also speaking anonymously because the discussions have not been made public, confirmed receiving Egypt's message of its strong opposition through multiple channels. The diplomat said Egypt was very serious and viewed the plan as a threat to its national security. The diplomat said Egypt rejected similar proposals from the Biden administration and European countries early in the war, which was sparked by Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack into southern Israel. The earlier proposals were broached privately, while Trump announced his plan at a White House press conference alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Harris and Biden were saying the same shit about the Gaza Strip that Donald Trump is saying. They just said it privately, while Trump is saying it publicly. That's the only difference. They were doing it behind the scenes. Trump is saying it out loud. That's the only difference. What was my source? The Associated Press. Egypt lobbies against Trump's plan to empty Gaza of Palestinians as Israel prepares for it. You fucking liar. You're saying, I voted for Kamala and it's so much better, except the evidence is the opposite. Of course, you don't know anything about politics, Ethan, and you never do any research, and you have no idea what you're talking about. So the only difference between the two is Biden lies to everybody and confuses them about where America really stands, and Donald Trump is open about it. But the other thing is Donald Trump got a ceasefire in Gaza. There's a ceasefire in Gaza right now. Hostages are being released right now. Palestinians are returning to their homes. Israeli troops are withdrawing. Tents of humanitarian aid have begun to flow. Yeah, he's talking shit. He's saying the same shit that Biden was saying behind the scenes, but for the Gazans, there's now peace and a chance there's respite. Now, Israel is committing all sorts of violations of the ceasefire and attacking people and doing things like that. There's no doubt about that. Israel is still a scumbag, genocidal, settler, colonial hellhole. But the reality on the ground for Gazans has improved since Donald Trump has been in office. That is just a fact. Now, I don't support Trump. I'm fighting my ass off against Trump. And the best way to fight against Trump is to build a Democratic Party that actually has morals, that actually is different than the Republicans, instead of being pathetic Republican light like you love.
Kamala, if you are a leftist who said Kamala and Trump are the same on this issue, if you are a leftist who voted for Jill Stein.
Objectively, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their presidency was worse on this issue. Donald Trump is just being more honest about what America is. Sometimes people will criticize me and say that, you just say America bad. And I don't say America bad. I love America. There's a ton of really great, cool shit about America. There's a lot of awesome Americans alive today who have done incredible things. America is a beautiful country. America has a great, the American people aren't actually as bad as their leaders. We have a horrible government. We have a horrible political system. It's extremely anti-democratic. It puts way too much power into rural conservative hands. But I love America. I just want America to rise to the level of its potential. I want it to be the utopian society that it could be. We have the wealth. We have the knowledge. We have the productive skill. We are incredibly blessed with natural resources and beautiful biodiversity. Like, we have it all here. You hate America because you're defending the shit status quo that's killing millions of people around the world. That's what you hate America. I'm the only person who actually cares about America, you fucking disgusting liberal.
I say this, and I know you guys are shitting and pissing the bed and doing everything you can to pretend like this take is like the worst, dumbest, most outlandish, and also probably racist thing you could say. This is all in your lap, and you don't get to say shit. All these people are going to be like, Trump, I can't believe. No, you just sit down and take it. Because this is all on you, and I don't
believe the Zionist wants us to just sit back and take Israel ethnically cleansing. He wants us not to protest Israel ethnically cleansing. Wow, I can't believe somebody would say that Ethan Klein might be a Zionist. Oh my God, that story is insane. I found the archived Reddit where oh my God, so this is just, so his clips are literally just from DGG. It was a deleted post on DGG. The inbred clips are just from DGG. Of course. What a pathetic fucking loser, dude. What a pathetic fucking loser. Notice the genocide is leftist fault, not the party doing it, Israel and the United States. Yeah.
Don't give a what you say. This is what this kind of activism that Hassan and people like him, this is the outcome of their activism. It is, people need to start thinking about, like, what is this level of activism we see of, like, extraordinarily extremist, zero nuance, straight up hateful, uncompromising, what is the outcome of this level of...
Ethan Klein is so uneducated about politics, he thinks I'm uncompromising. Like, legitimately, he knows so little about politics, he thinks I'm uncompromising. I'm extremely compromising. He just doesn't know what the left actually is. He just he's unaware of what the entire political spectrum is. Like, he just doesn't know what radical leftism even is. I am not the most far left a person could be. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm talking about, like, supporting Zohran in New York City for mayor. Like, what do you think that's the most radical leftist you could be, you fucking dumbass? I'm saying, you know, Bernie Sanders, start your own party. You think that's the most radical left you could be? Like, what are you talking about, man? I'm saying, do you know that Medicare for all is a compromised position? Do you know what the left-wing position is on healthcare? Nationalization of all healthcare. So every doctor, every nurse becomes a government employee. Every insurance company has all their assets seized. That's far left position on healthcare. Medicare for all is a moderate position, you dumbass.
Activism. What have they done for Gaza? Literally, what have they done for Gaza? What have they done for Gaza? Serious. I'm being dead serious. They've done nothing. They are ineffective, completely worthless as advocacy goes. A total failed movement.
And then the CEO of Teddy Fresh joined in on the blowback. What up, Ela Kleiners? She posted this on her Instagram story. This artist I wanted to collaborate with decided I can't be associated with because I'm Israeli. I've followed him for years, always supported him, and I have an original painting of his at my house. When we talk about how serious the rise in anti-Semitism is, this is why it's scary for us. It's now so casual to just not want to associate with an Israeli, just because I was born there. Where in this very short, polite email does it say anything about Ela being Israeli? I'm sorry, I can't be associated with this company. Thanks for the consideration. And Israel does not equal Judaism. How long is it going to take for these people to get this out of their heads? She then decided to call into the show and whine about her experience as a marginalized Israeli.
This is the result of Hassan's type of activism, where there's zero space, forget nuance. I mean, it's like they're just all or nothing. Like, I mean, that's just not how the world works. This is not how the world works. Should I out him?
Hey, you want to see something our activism has done? Democrats are more pro-Palestinian than any time in the past 7 years. In the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, are your sympathies more with the Palestinians 35%, about equal 32%, the Israelis 9% and declining. It is now a plurality position of the Democratic Party to support Palestinians over Israelis, and just Palestinians over equal. We're coming for that entity. It's only a matter of time, Ethan.
No, Alex Pardee is a saint. He's the best person.
Yeah, Alex is a sweetheart.
I don't know if is it morally okay to say who he is. Whatever you guys think, I don't care.
I mean, if I say who he is, it's probably just to get a bunch of snarkers buying his art, but I don't care. People should be. I mean, listen, it's not right. What an asshole response to, like...
I think that guy should sue them for defamation. He's calling an artist anti-Semitic because he doesn't want to work with your dumb fucking community of shitbags. Fuck you.
It's almost like he's, yeah, and by the way, like, he doesn't even dignify you with the response of, like, it's like, no, you actually, I can't be associated with this company. That's it. And you guys have had a relationship. Like, he knows you.
I'm just annoyed because it's not the first one. There's another person right now that is doing the same thing to me, somebody that I'm already working with. So...
I have a wild idea. You know, if you're living in Beverly Hills in your multi-millionaire mansion with your servants and your yes men that you all pay to like you, every single one of the people around Ethan Klein and Gila Klein has to be paid to be there. Have you considered perhaps just like shutting the fuck up and making fart jokes?
I don't know. This one really got to me because I have his art at my house, and it's like, what the f do I do with that? I appreciate the art. I don't want to destroy it, but I also don't want it.
And this is the result of this activism that Hassan. This is the result of Hassan's activism. This is what it resounds to: alienation, hate, racism, and zero progress for people in Gaza.
Hey, chat, since he's bringing up activism, I just want to do some activism for the New York City DSA. They have a candidate, and he's not just a politician, all right? This is a friend. Zoran is not just like a progressive who's working with DSA. He's cadre. He is a socialist. This guy is a motherfucking king. He's proposing building 200,000 rent-controlled, union-built social and public housing units for New Yorkers. He's a motherfucking Chad. Zoran is amazing. He's running for mayor. And today is the last day to change your party affiliation to Democrat. So if you're an independent, if you're a Socialist Party member and you're in New York City, you are in New York State, you need to change your party affiliation for Democrat just so you could vote in this primary.
Look at these fossils. Democrats sold us down the river.
Put it away. I haven't even looked at my phone in 5 days. It's called practicing non-attachment. You must try it, darling.
I'm not gonna do a poly thing.
No. Not what I'm saying.
God damn Democrats. I've never been prouder not to be one.
Are you truly independent if you're just glued to your phone like this? Let's unplug. Focus on us. Valentine's is coming up.
I don't just want to live in the moment. I want to meet it too. I like Zoran though. He's running on freezing the rent, union-built housing, city-run groceries, universal child care, free buses. He is meeting the moment.
All right, I'll vote for this guy.
But Cad, this is the Democratic primary. So if we want to vote for Zoran where it really counts, we have to change our party affiliation. I know you value your independence.
And I admire yours too.
But I was thinking...
Will you switch your party affiliation to Democratic with me?
So we can vote for Zoran for mayor and provide our family with a more affordable future in this city?
Yes, Harmonia. 1,000 times yes.
The one thing I like about Zoran is he's just millennial cringe and he laughs about it. He just doesn't care. He leans into millennial cringe and it's funny. And it's like, you know what? He's a happy warrior. And he's a really good guy. We should watch his video on housing. It's really, really, really good. It's really, really good. Maybe we'll watch, like it's one of our favorite videos. He made a video on housing a few years ago, and it's really good. So I'm excited for him. Make sure you change your party affiliation for Zoran. Anyway, let's go back to making fun of Ethan Klein. I just want to do a little bit of activism. I think he has raised the most money from New Yorkers early on, and he's got a really strong core of supporters. So it's a good shot that he has a chance of winning the New York City mayor's race. And let me tell you, chat, that's not going to be enough. He's going to be under fire by the Democrats and the Republicans if he wins. So this is just the beginning.
Zero.
Can I vote for him if I'm an expat and my home state is New York? Yes.
I mean,
he actively didn't help make sure we don't get Trump in office. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now I hope he's happy with like Trump Lindia that we're gonna get there. There should be a Hassan Street there, the Hassan Square.
That's a good point. Hassan Piker Way.
Yeah.
I'll advocate for that, yeah.
There are so many different explanations for this.
Disgusting.
And if this person really did know Hila and have a relationship with her already, there's no way the reason is because she's Israeli. They would have known that. Did they just find out she's Israeli? It could be that he saw recent clips of her, I don't know, agreeing with Rudy Giuliani about 2-year-old Palestinians, or calling Yoav Gallant a good guy, or even older footage of her saying the apartheid wall is a good idea for her safety, or I don't know, the content nuke on Hassan? You yourself admit that this guy is a fan of Hassan, so he's probably very supportive of Palestine. Chances are this dude probably assumed you were pro-Palestine, was proved otherwise, and politely told you he no longer wants to be associated with the company. Wait, what was the entire purpose of the content nuke on Hassan in the first place?
If you ever see Hassan rubbing shoulders with anyone from mainstream media, let them know politely with all the civility and
let them know politely. He's too cowardly to say harass people who work with Hassan. And guess what happens, Ethan? This is what Ethan Klein doesn't understand. Is Hassan and I are rooted in real politics, you dumb fuck. You're rooted in DGG clips, you stupid piece of shit. You dumb fucker. People agree with us politically, you dumbass. You worthless sack of shit. You're a nothing. You're a fart joke guy. Shut your fucking mouth. You want to come after us? Good luck. Why don't you just go back to making fart jokes? I don't get it. Go back to making fart jokes. I don't understand why you're so dedicated. Like, listen, Trump's in office, all right? The Israeli entity is probably not going to crumble in the next 4 years. Why don't you enjoy your fascist fucking state and be quiet about it? People aren't... Now that there's a ceasefire in Gaza... You know, you can go back to pretending to be progressive even if you just shut your fucking mouth for a minute.
in the world, what kind of person he is when he thinks mainstream media isn't watching.
And I'm a Twitch streamer. Like, I'm not working on a campaign. I don't work for anybody. I get to say whatever the fuck I want. Like, what are you going to cancel me to? My audience? They love it.
Understand that his name should be associated with people like Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones.
Our enemies who we fight? Our enemies that we fight who recognize us as the biggest threat? You know who Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes love? Losers like Joe Biden. You know who they like? Losers like Kamala Harris, because they win against them. They love Hillary Clinton. They win against them. You know who they're scared shitless of? Bernie Sanders.
Other fringe, radical, political commentators. Number 2, Twitch must be held accountable. Twitch has proven that it will not change by choice. And so it is our moral imperative.
So in other words, he wants to make it so that Twitch censors us. There are anti-Semites on YouTube. How about you clean up your own fucking platform, you scumbag piece of shit? Clean up your own platform, you dumb fuck. There's anti-Semites all over it. There is all sorts of questionable child content. There's all sorts of disgusting right-wing fuckers on Twitch. Excuse me, on YouTube. Why don't you clean up your own fucking platform first? Destiny's on your platform. Aren't you concerned a sex criminal is still streaming on your fucking platform? Why aren't you concerned about YouTube? Why aren't you concerned about young women being sexually groomed on your fucking platform?
To enact that change through any reasonable...
These are all their sponsors. And listen, at a certain point, when you've pushed every button, pulled every lever, and nothing's working, when you've tried your best to give good faith feedback, and you think that something is that important to you, like, you have, in my opinion, a moral obligation, and what I see as a moral obligation, to pull whatever lever you can. And I don't give a... I am not too proud, and I am not above, I don't give a shit, right? Like, if you've done something dumb enough that you can get easily by an email to the sponsors, that's something you have to reckon and deal with. I've been dealing with that my whole career, okay?
We need to get the N-word compilation, and anytime someone sponsors his show, just send it over to them and make sure they know that they're associated with it. Why not? I mean, hey, turnabout's fair play, right, Ethan?
I wasn't gonna say it.
No, I am. I'm not. I don't hide from it. Everybody knows that. Right. I've been dealing with it for my whole career. Okay, and it's something you got to reckon with. It's something you got to deal with. But like, be accountable, man. And I have become accountable for a lot of things that people always send to the sponsors, and it's something you deal with. That's just life. And I think it's insane that all these brands are associating with Twitch when it's become a safe haven for extremist politics.
We all recall YouTube's adpocalypse. It happened when ads were running over ISIS recruitment videos, and it caused a brand exodus. The same thing is happening.
Hassan and I don't run ads. Next.
Happening now on Twitch. But instead of ISIS, it's the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Dan Clancy's refusal to moderate extremists is the only reason for any of this. He is the sole person to blame. He had so many opportunities to stop this.
If you look back at the adpocalypse that took place on YouTube, we all got so hard. There was years of the revenue being dog. I lost 90% of my ad revenue.
So he wants to do that to other creators who have nothing to do. Like, here's the thing that's real. This shows you how much of a little worm he is. This is why no one likes you, man. You're trying to destroy people who have nothing to do with us. You're trying to hurt people that are just making their own content. You're trying to destroy artists. You're trying to destroy musicians. You're trying to destroy IRL streamers, gaming streamers. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you are a total piece of shit. So you could censor the political content that is a large section of American society. Bernie Sanders style leftism may not be the majority yet, but there's a large section of our society that believe in it. And it is far more humane and just than who's in power right now, which is Donald fucking Trump. You want to censor us while Fresh and Fit is on YouTube, while Asmongold is on YouTube. You are not trying to censor Asmongold. You're not trying to censor Republicans. You're trying to censor the left. Because we criticized you and your genocidal settler colonial state that is killing hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. You suck.
When that happened, and I didn't have sponsors at the time. That was like 100%. That was all my income was from that.
When the apocalypse was happening, were you mad at the people who pointed out that ads were on ISIS videos?
Yes.
The nuke headed for Hassan turned around, penetrated the Iron Dome, and hit the Teddy Fresh offices. I'm sorry, but that is so incredibly hilarious. Of course, Ethan then went to Instagram to write, "I'm going to answer this because I've seen Hila getting enough from scumbags on the internet. This is someone she has had an existing relationship with. They have never had an issue with any of our conversations over the years. There is no reason for the shortness of the answer as they've been amicable and friendly until now. They're also a Hassan fan and active in online activist circles that target us. You like to hope that people can prioritize a personal relationship and see through the bullshit people say about us, but it's not always like that. Also, don't know why some of you guys have a hard time believing this. Brad Does Music was literally canceled for taking a picture with us and forced to apologize. This has been a constant issue for Israeli artists since October 7th. Yeah, if you run defense for the IDF and say that 2-year-old Palestinians are taught to kill Americans, this should happen to you. I mean, in the same episode, only minutes earlier, Ethan called out creators for Palestine because apparently raising $1.6 million is negligible and doesn't actually help people in Palestine. Take a wild guess as to who was one of the main organizers of that charity event.
Creators for Palestine raised $1.6 million. That's fantastic. Literally negligible. They've received billions of dollars. It's a good thing. Has 1.6...
They've received billions of dollars? I guess he's talking about Palestinians. He's talking about Palestinians. Israel has received over $330 billion from the United States, and you still want more. $330 billion to Israel.
$6 million had an outcome on anything happening in Gaza? Absolutely not. Has it helped people? Sure. Has it helped the actual movement? No.
By the way, Ethan Klein tries to say, I gave $6,500 to Palestinian charity. I'm a good person. Bro, I gave $10K. $6,500? You're way richer than me. You skinflint, you cheap fuck. Why are you out there going oh man, I gave $6,500. How much do you make a video? $6,500 is nothing. Pathetic.
Raise money. That's good. That's the easiest thing you can do is just give money, right? Good. Let's talk about real activism. Let's talk about enacting meaningful change. Total failures.
Yeah, no wonder people don't want to work with you guys. Nearly 100 of some of the most popular YouTubers and Twitch streamers were a part of that. You're just guaranteeing that you're hated across the internet at that point.
It's not real activism. It didn't make a single difference in Gaza. He's lost his mind. It's crazy how much I used to look up to H3. They were the fathers of fair use, and now he's just sitting here crashing out for days on end because Hassan Piker won't watch his silly little class project. That $1.69 million, and I put the 9 there because it was 1.693 million, so it's pretty close to 1.7, so we'll round up. That $1.69 million helped so many individuals, and no, it absolutely did not solve the crisis. That's not what we set out to do. If we had the power to do that, we would have done that 1,000 times over, but no amount of YouTubers coming together is going to solve what's happening in Gaza. We wanted to do two things: use our platform to spread awareness and help in the ways that we can and raise the money that we can. And if you can't understand that, Ethan, if you can't mentally understand that that's activism, you're an idiot. We pulled together creators from every single corner of the internet, people who have nothing in common, people who have never, ever talked about any political topic in public, and we got them to speak out about Palestine. The whole point was to get people who have never talked about these kinds of issues.
I love this Hassan. He's a really cool guy. I like him. He's a really cool guy. And this did take balls. You have far more to lose standing up to Israel than you ever have for standing up in support of Israel. Everybody knows that. Ethan Klein knows that. Everyone understands that. No one's confused about that.
Who have never cared about these kinds of issues and put them in front of them. And I think we did exactly that. From the Try Guys to Curtis Connors to everybody that we had together in that room, it reached so many corners of the internet and reached so many more people than we'd ever had before. That's activism. And then beyond that, VidCon was 2 weeks later, and I can't tell you how many creators came up to me and said, thank you for doing that, asked on how they could be a part of the next event we do, asked what they could do from their own communities and their own platform because they've been terrified to speak out. But seeing guys like Curtis Connor, seeing guys like the Try Guys put their whole platforms out there on the line and say, I don't care what the U.S. government says about where they're going to send their dollars and who they're going to weaponize, I'm going to support this human rights violation. That's the activism, Ethan. It's using your platform to spread awareness. And on top of that, you're just implying that none of us did anything else. Lots of us marched at rallies. Lots of us spoke to our lawmakers, called our senators, called our local government officials, and made it very clear this is an issue to us. And here's a clip from his content, Nuke, where he talks about how he donated $6,500 to Palestine.
Despite what you've read on TikTok and Twitter, I've donated $6,500 to a Palestinian charity after the war started.
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the dono. Ethan Klein gave $6,500.
When he was called out about this on Twitter and on Threads, he decided to come after Stanzi Potenza and go out of his way to say, how much money did you personally donate? That's such a stupid conversation point. So many creators, because I run Creators for Palestine. I see the back end. I see every donation. I can't tell you how many creators donated $10,000 plus $25,000 and more, but didn't make a public statement about it and didn't try and say, hey, look at me. I'm a good guy. I did something that's the most basic human necessity. Hey, I'm a millionaire, so I decided to give some of my money. And unlike Ethan, didn't make it a shield to say, hey, I don't have these horrible political beliefs. No, because I donated $6,500 to Palestine. Therefore, I made a difference. And then he's going to come out and criticize Creators for Palestine. And for what? Ethan, I was a massive fan of you growing up. I can't tell you how much I looked up to you as the father of fair use and for dunking on horrible, cringy people on the internet, but you've become exactly what you were against back in the day. You have the kind of life people dream of. You're a multi-millionaire, you got your kids, you have everything you could want, and you spend every day sitting on the internet crying and whining and moaning. Get offline and get your mental health in order. You have absolutely lost it. And don't you dare ever disrespect Creators for Palestine or any other charity again. When you're sitting there talking, you're calling us to do some real activism. What the hell have you done? Was your content real activism? Was telling everybody that, oh my God, big reveal, Hassan Piker's a socialist. Of course he's a socialist. He's been a radical socialist the whole time. That's who he's been. That's not real activism either. So why don't you get off, go enjoy your millions of dollars, your wonderful life, and then do some real activism if you care about it, instead of sitting in your stupid podcast chair, yelling at your employees, treating everybody you know like crap, because you know, Ethan, multiple people in your life haven't spoken to you because they're nervous of how you'd react in public, but privately, tons of your friends have talked to me and to others about how worried they are about you and your mental health because you've absolutely
People
fine
have
off.
messaged me about it. And I'm not even an Ethan Klein guy. People that know Ethan Klein are messaging him going like, what's going on with Ethan? And I was like, you know, I tell them the truth. And they're like, I don't know if, and like recently somebody messaged me and they were like, I don't know if there's anybody left to talk to him. I mean, maybe Ethan Klein's got a bunch of people that want to back him up on this. They're just all right out of frame. Like, you know, maybe they're all just hanging out of frame, but I would encourage the people that back Hassan or back Ethan Klein's nuke to show themselves, right? The only people that are backing Ethan Klein's nuke are ex-Destiny orbiters, because that's what's holding them together. Like they've gone from being Destiny orbiters to just anti-Hassan fans, because that's what they were inculcated with Destiny. Well, they've lost Destiny, but the one thing they can hold on to is being anti-Hassan. Have I seen this compilation?
Communist.
To handle. Get it together.
Ethan then went to Instagram to try and make amends, I guess. But he really just doubled down. Oh look, another dipshit leftist lying about me on Twitter. Anyone remember me saying this yesterday? If I thought raising money is a bad thing, why would I donate $6,500 of my own money? By the way,
cheap.
Since you bring it up, how much did you personally give? The fact is that raising money is negligible when you are helping the ethnic cleansing candidate win. This is a
They were both ethnic cleansing candidates. We just showed you the article from the AP that everything that Trump is saying out loud, Biden was saying behind the scenes, including ethnically cleansing Gaza.
Concept that is so obvious and easy to understand, but somehow when faced with criticism of their surface level and ineffective activism, they turn into lying baby brain propagandists. Ethan, say money bad. Either you are dumb as or just a straight up liar. Either way, you scumbag. I have zero patience for anyone participating in this pathetic hate bandwagon. I'm not really sure what he means by helping the ethnic cleansing candidate win. I mean, he himself voted for Kamala. Wasn't she the vice president during the ethnic cleansing? And didn't she say that if she won the presidency, she would change nothing about what Joe Biden did in Palestine?
President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done.
So in the end...
And you know who got the deal done on the ceasefire? Trump. Because Trump said to them, yeah, it's time for it to end. Don't make me raise my bitch slapping hand. Just sign the deal that's on the table. And they did. Donald Trump sent one of his flunky golf buddies to Israel, and he had a deal done. Now, Donald Trump then said, you know, the Gazans should just move out. But that's exactly what the Biden administration was saying. How do we know? Egypt has said that.
The nuke did detonate, just on the wrong target. I mean, guys, you're big boys. There are consequences for your actions. And targeted hate and harassment campaigns against very popular people on the internet is probably not going to end well, especially when you yourself, over the past year and a half, have really just been a bad faith actor in this whole Israel-Palestine discussion. You say you're pro-Palestine, but almost every day you talk shit about people that are pro-Palestine. You say you don't support the Israeli government, but whenever they bomb a hospital, you say, there's no way they did that.
Their bases are under hospitals. They shoot from schools. They embed themselves in the civilian population. They even dress as civilians when they fight.
You're obviously under the impression that Hassan hate videos get clicks, and you're not wrong. But a dead horse can only be beaten for so long before it becomes a rotten puddle of goo. Thank you for watching NSR. Peace and love. Free Palestine.
Oh my God, big reveal. Hassan Piker's a socialist. Of course he's a socialist. He's been a radical socialist. The whole time, that's who he's been.
What an absolute fucking banger video, chat. Here's what I want all of you to do. The link is in the chat. The link's in the chat. Here's my link. But here's what I also want you to do. If you have the ability, I want you to look for Ethan Klein's content nuke on Hassan Piker. First of all, go to your YouTube channel. Go to your YouTube splash page, right? Like this. If you see the video on these on the top, click on it. If it's not there, search it in the chat. And then click on the North Star Radio. Make sure you hit that like button. If you can, play the whole video through. And then leave a comment.